In this training, we're going to be looking at managing your customization for ElectroBIM. And there are two main places that your customization lives. You have your customization folder, and then you have your project settings. And you need to get the customization and everything set up right in these two places. So you need to make sure that just this is all set right for you and for everyone else in your company. So let's first look at the customization folder. So this is a screenshot here of the ElectroBIM UI. And for the customization folder, and we'll take a look at this in a moment, you set that in your user options. So that's going to be this command here. And then the customization folder is going to control your master feeder ID schedule and all of your single line diagram graphics. So everything down here is going to be stored in that customization folder. So go take a look at this in Revit. If I run our user options command, this has the customization folder. So this is where all those settings are being stored. It defaults to your local app data roaming. So this is kind of your own personal spot on your local computer. So that by default, this is where we put everything. This is where we copy all of our files. And if you're one person, that's going to work great. If you have multiple people in your company, you're going to want to share these files. So you'll want to choose a shared network folder and move all the files from this location to that shared file on the network. So we have two buttons here to help you with that. If you click open, it'll just open up that folder for you. So this will make it easy to get to it. And then these are all the files that you would want to transfer to a network drive. And then you can either type it in here or you can do select customization folder to go choose something on your network. So that's how you can set the customization folder. And then that is going to have, again, all of these files in it. It's going to have all of your families and projects for your single line diagrams. It also has these files for your master feeder ID and then for your feeder and equipment graphics on the single line diagram. So all of that is stored in the customization folder. So when you're working with a large company with multiple users, you want to make sure that that's on a shared folder, shared network drive that everyone has access to. So that is for the customization folder. Then we have the project settings, and this is everything that is stored in your project. And that's going to be your project options and your wire sizes and your conduit sizes and your wire ampacities and your transformer overcurrent protection. That's all stored in the project. We have the import and the export available to help move that from project to project. So there's a couple different ways you can reuse these settings. One is that you can go to a template file in Revit and make all these changes in your template. Then any project that started from that template will have all of those settings correct in it. Alternatively, you can do it in a project and export the settings from the project and then import it into a future project. That's also a good way to get the template set up. You get a project, you kind of work on a project, you get everything right, export from the project, and then you can also import to the template. So that's another way you can get the template set right. So that's going to be all of these settings here. And then we have the export and the import for transferring that information. When you run the export, you give it a location for the file. So you give the file location, you give it the file name. And then you also get to choose which settings you're actually exporting. So you can export different parts of the options or all of them. The wire sizes, conduits, and wire ampacities, those kind of all work together. So you have to export and import that together as a group. And then the transformer sizes as a separate setting as well. So you can export and import as much or as little as you want. So that lets you move your customization between projects. And finally, there's one setting that we skipped over, and that is the project feeder ID schedule. This one is stored in your project, like all of the project options and everything else that we were just looking at. But it's not something you really want to set up ahead of time in a template. It doesn't get transferred in the export import. Instead, if you want to have this transferred between projects, that's where the master feeder ID schedule comes into play. So this really in the project is going to be copied from this location into your project as needed. So just be aware that that's not going to be stored in your project. That's handled a little bit differently. We have a whole training on feeder IDs. So if you want to see how that works, go check out the feeder ID training. That's going to go into depth into how to actually transfer that to the other projects. The feeder ID schedule is stored in your customization folder. Have that set up for everybody, and then that'll be used in your projects appropriately based upon your feeder ID settings. If you want to know more about all of the options and all of the customization that we do have trainings on all of these. So there's separate trainings available. If you're watching the recording, we'll have links to all of those trainings in the show notes, so you can take a look at those. And that is it for managing your customization. You really have two things to worry about. You've got the settings in the customization folder, and then you have the settings in the project. Get the customization folder on a shared network drive for all the people in your company. For your project settings, either set up a template or use the export and import to transfer those settings to other projects.